today we're going to be talking about some unnoble people, some unnoble thoughts being shared out. Someone who said that when bad things happen, when good people keep quiet and do nothing,
Yes.
and you go out on social media, you see a lot of dumb takes. If people don't sensitize people and let you know that this thing is silly, you know, the first thing I want to talk about, funny thing is that I was really concerned about it, but I have only 2 sentences to make about it. Maybe you want to read...
okay, let me read this one first.
Read it out first.
Let me first read this one. So this one says, marrying highly educated working women will be one of the worst decisions you will ever make in your life. Big red flag.
Wow.
And the first comment says, marrying a man with insecurities and low self-esteem will be one of the worst decisions you will ever make in your life. Big red flag. So, I wonder, Titi, what's your take on this one first?
So, I'm trying to breathe. I'm trying to ingest what you just said. A lot of women are a lot more highly educated than before. This recent past 2 decades have shown an influx of extremely well-motivated, highly achieved women. And they have come out to become a force that I feel like some men just didn't understand, was, you know, didn't see coming. But that's not to say that anything, it has nothing to do with marriage. It has nothing to do with the institution called marriage. When it comes to education, when it comes to self-esteem, it becomes about the personalities, the individuals themselves, and whether they're compatible or not. Putting a red flag for one person, it might not be a red flag for someone else. Self-esteem, overconfidence for some women is a red flag. So if I see a man that is a bit too overconfident,
like you have to put the 2 with the over.
A bit too arrogant, a bit too overconfident, in my opinion, it is a bit of a red flag for me, because he just feels like the world is going to be put there at his feet. He might not be able to humble himself in some certain situations to get some things done. I'm not going to touch on the women thing, because I know you got that covered.
Me? I actually don't.
Really?
As a matter of fact, I would love to hear what Mike has to say about this.
Look, it's just, at times I think that due to the way we go about social media, we make a lot of silly people prominent because we're discussing on it. For me, just 3 words: silly, stupid, myopic. That's all. And there's no talk about. As much as it's concerning, and why should I get into a litany for something that is really myopic? There are no absolutes in life. And so for me, that person is gone. So it's the other people that might be influenced. Don't be that stupid.
If someone posts that on social media, what is the first impression you have of that person?
So my first impression is, oh, the person has experienced something serious.
Aha!
So when I saw that, the first thing I said is, they don't show this one Pepe. But then the question is, what kind of Pepe?
Exactly.
Because when that comment came, the first comment of, don't avoid men who have low self-esteem and are selfish and all. The reality is, many men that have issues with educated and successful women are usually men who wish they could have control over them. No, not control, dominate them. I've realized that that's where the problem is. You struggle to work with her. You would rather be on top of her just so as to, you know, push down your dominance. So you find yourself saying mean things which are unnecessary, trying to put her down all the time. And then you wonder why some women who are successful are reluctant to marry men that are not as successful as they are. It's not because they are looking down on those men. It's simply because they are wondering, at the long term, will he be able to keep up? Or will he just be seeing me as either a cash cow? If I had that kind of money.
So we had a conversation earlier on about in the makeup room about some women who back in the day used to submit their entire earnings for the month to their husbands. Now,
the way Mike looked at you like, really?
Yes, we talked about it, because it is still happening in some cases. Because for some, well, I'm not going to say for some reason.
If it works, I was about to say that.
If it works for them,
Because
fine.
there are men that also
yes,
give to women.
But,
so I don't think it's
but in terms of
You can't
Okay.
say...
Okay. Well,
There are also men
in my opinion, if he
that-
is a financial manager, financial expert, someone who
Exactly.
understands money, or works in banking, or works in the financial space,
Or someone who will
it
maximize
makes
the
sense.
funds for the family.
But
Yeah.
this is someone who is now going to make sole decisions, because in the end, once the money is on your hand, it's on your hand.
The funny thing is that there are
You
more-
can't-
I know of more men that would even give their money to their wives.
To manage for the month.
So now,
And so it works for him. You wouldn't come out and say that man is giving soul. You won't talk about it that way.
Yeah.
So for me,
Exactly.
find out what works for you. What if she's a spendthrift? What if she's someone that spends a lot? Or what if she's being traditional? It's her own. If it works for her, cool. I think we have to get to that point where
but
we
from
understand
that post, from that tweet, do you think that's the kind of man that would have posted that? Someone who would make a demand or request for her to submit everything to him, so that she doesn't seem like she's trying to either maybe take control or dominate
Look.
or lord over him in the home?
When a woman has her money, the way she thinks is different from a woman who doesn't. Because when a man is, getting too much on you, you're already thinking of, okay, if things go south, am I padding myself? Men don't like that. They like to be, many men, I don't want to generalize,
yeah.
they like to be the all in all. So they don't want you to think of survival on your own. They want to believe that even if you're thinking of survival, you're considering me in that survival. So that is part of the problem.
What I would love is for some people to begin to understand that having a wife that is intelligent, smart, a good earner, becomes a safety net for any man.
If something goes wrong,
And in the context of safety net, I want to use a circus, because life is a circus. You are walking a tightrope every single
Every
day.
day.
And the second you slip, who is
my
going to be there to
goodness.
catch you?
Talking about this tightrope here.
that was all I wanted to say.
You just mentioned it. I wanted
Tightrope.
not to talk about it because not so much time. But you talk about tightrope. Eco Atlantic, how the terrain is. I don't know why they allow that thing.
Yeah.
It's not the first time I see people want to race on
Okay,
that lane.
Yeah.
You're looking at maybe 5 aside, sometimes 4 lanes, 4 cars per lane and all of that. So there's enough space. And then there was just this stomping on social media of these guys. The funny thing was that there was an escort there with them.
Wow.
A police escort. So you know that these are not
They're
probably
people
rich
with money.
kids, people with money or something. He had an escort there with them. And then they go into this crazy, they want to
Drag race.
Yeah, they want to race. And then whoop, this guy almost, basically, almost people in cars have been less messed up than that have lost their lives. You understand? And the funny thing is how there was just that car still it's not like the road was being cleared. That the car that he hit was just still standing by.
Yeah.
And he just went into it.
Wow.
But that was not even the whole, it was his
See,
message after.
wait for it.
He goes on about how God has a plan for him and yeah.
Wow.
And then he continues and says, okay, the masses should contribute and put his account number. That he has over 400 million in damages. It's the way he wrote, he said the masses.
God. And remember what I said? I said it's the masses for me. So you are appealing for funds because, 400 million has just been blown.
Talking about a
And then-
tightrope, it's so, I was just thinking about how, man, it blows my
See what I
mind.
said about overconfidence?
Some people have, and you
Imagine. Oh gosh. You know what?
You really, when I think about it, it's how he wrote it, the masses.
Overconfident.
Like, I know Selna no get money, but from the little you have, people are very generous.
Wow.
Contribute and give me so that I can recoup.
So do you
what
know if
I've
that
lost.
message was written in another way? Maybe somebody else should have written it for him. I don't know.
There's no way
Who
it's
would
going
have
to be
written?
See, there's no way it's going to be
If he had even said something more humbling, like, I know I've messed up, I made a stupid decision, I this, I that, but please help, I need help.
He didn't say it that way.
He didn't say it that way. He made it seem like, look, you know what? This is the amount of money that has been lost.
As in-
I need help.
That kind of money, if
Wait, I
the
don't-
masses see
I
it.
miss, last, at the end of everything, I was talking, a friend of mine, she was talking to her son. She was about driving and the son was sitting down, very 3-year-old kid. He had his back seat and then she was saying, please go to the back. Like, do you know that if this guy stays there and there's an issue, he could die, you are saying please for something about his life. African mothers are not proud of you. Just generally, if that kind of person was my son, if I was the father, that kind of person.
Oh, God. You know what?
Okay. I guess we'll say that the way they trained us, some things that happened to us, they saved our lives.
Yeah, true.
They saved our lives.
Some of the floggings we
Because
received when we
the
were children.
stupidity of this generation is mind-boggling.
Wow. At this point, we're going to hear your thoughts, and I know there'll be an interesting ones. Use our hashtag #WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know what you're thinking. Yay. Okay.